But if your breath still stinks, it's not going to matter. So that is how I perceive intrapersonal self-care. It doesn't matter if I got a facial, my face looks good, I got a fresh haircut, I got my nails done, my toes done. Everything on the external looks really good, but my soul still wasn't taken care of. Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Practice, the podcast where we fuse research and culture to help you develop the mindset, habits, and skills that you need in order to live out your purpose with confidence. I'm your host, Dr.Rees, and it's time to get better, y'all. Let's grow.
We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Practices are meant to be competitive. They're meant to be competitive. If your practices are more competitive than the games themselves, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yo, today we are talking about intrapersonal self-care. Now, I am extremely passionate about this topic because it's really the essence of you-ish, like intrapersonal self-care, you-ish. And we're going to break down the you-ish development. We're going to break down the you-ish intrapersonal self-care plan, you-ish time that I go through with all the people that I coach to make sure that you are really doing what you got to do to intentionally seek your healing, to internally secure your health, which is what you-ish stands for. So I'm excited to get after it. So before we do that though, y'all know how it is. We got to really go through the research. So what's the research that really supports intrapersonal self-care? There's a lot of it, right? Like there's a lot, but it's really going to boil down to your mind and your heart. That's it. Your mind and your heart, which for some folks, they can call it spirituality. They could call it your soul. I like to call it your soul and obviously spirit. But we've talked about this on previous episodes where we have the confident energy giving system and we had your core four, right? We talked about your spirituality, your emotional and your mental and spiritually, mentally, emotionally, right? Like those are the first three, and then physically. So the first three are really the essence of intrapersonal. And so the research behind this goes back to like, we're holistic beings. You're not just your physical being, right? That's one aspect of who you are. And a lot of self-care for some folks just sees it as a physical aspect, right? Like whether it's getting your toes done or your nails done and facials and massages. And believe me, I'm pro all of that. I'm about that life. I love it. But when you really look at it, those are just external aspects of self-care. And I'm getting ahead of myself, and that just is going to be what it is for the moment. But the research behind this is just because we're holistic beings, y'all. And because we're holistic beings, that means that there is a soul that we have. There's a soul that is us, that is inside this physical vessel, this physical body, this physical temple, whatever you want to call it. And if we're only giving self-care to the external temple that is seen, what does that have to say about what's inside? So a couple episodes we talked about you are the bag, and your bag is obviously your physical being, and what's inside of it is the different things that you hold, is the actual capital, and your soul is the essence of it. Your purpose is your soul, being acted out in a way. And so if you're not taking care of that, then what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when cats talk about, selling your soul for whatever. And I think that is a part of this in a kind of tricky way. Like I didn't really plan to say that, but then it came up like, but it really is it. You know what I'm saying? Like not taking care of your soul is like not truly taking care of who you are. So that leads me to the quote for today. The quote for today is, not taking care of your soul is like brushing your teeth and ignoring your tongue. Not taking care of your soul is like brushing your teeth and ignoring your tongue. So how many cats out there, right? I'm assuming and hoping everybody listening to this brushes their teeth, gets in there, boom. And then you go, pearly whites, you love it. But then if you don't, you know what I'm saying? I get that tongue and get all the plaque off your tongue and all that stuff and floss and all the different things and scrape your tongue, then your breath is still going to stink. So the outside, your teeth might be shiny and white because you use the Colgate boy that really helps you out and you all good that way, which is solid. But if your breath still stinks, it's not going to matter. So that is how I perceive intrapersonal self-care. It doesn't matter if I got a facial, my face looks good, I got a fresh haircut, I got my nails done, my toes done. Everything on the external looks really good. but my soul still wasn't taken care of, because that's the essence of the breath. That's the essence of who we are. If your soul's got plaque on it, your actions are gonna stink. Like if your soul has plaque built up, who you are, you're gonna have a nasty attitude. You're gonna have a bad perspective on the world. You're gonna walk around jaded. You're gonna be a pessimist. You're gonna miss out on your opportunity to be an optimist. You're gonna miss out on the hope that the world can provide for you if your soul has plaque on it. So just because you look pretty, if your soul is walking around with all this gunk on it, ain't nobody gonna wanna be around you. You're gonna be like, I see the smile, but I smell it too. You know what I'm saying? I see you looking a certain way, but I could smell you coming from a mile away. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that, as funny as that may be, but that's actually really, like, that's real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of cats walking around here and we see it all the time and say it all the time, and we can label it and point it out. Man, they all, they're here, they're dressed up, they're this, that, and the third, but they're ugly on the inside. Right? Like nobody wants anybody who is pretty and beautiful on the outside but ugly on the inside, because that's what matters most. Right? At least we say it does, but do we actually put in the actions to create that intrapersonal beauty? And that's really what this is. It's not necessarily like, I don't want to hijack the whole thought process around self-care. The question could be is, are you as beautiful on the inside as you are on the out? Are you really taking time to dress up your soul and give it the same amount of attention that you're giving every other part of your body? Are you investing the same amount on your heart, on your mind, on your thoughts, on your attitude, on your beliefs, on all the things that truly make up the outer side of you as you do on the outside? And what's so dope about this, y'all, is external self-care requires physical money and intrapersonal self-care is free. Like external self, you know how much it costs to get facials and nails and hair and clothes? Like that stuff is expensive. It costs a whole lot of money, which really weeds out a lot of people from being able to have higher levels of external self-care. But intrapersonal self-care is free. You don't need nothing to be able to have the fancy, oh, you fancy, huh? Like, let me find somebody with a fancy soul. Like, let me find somebody with a fancy heart. So boom, real quick story. Me and my lady went out to Phoenix, and we went to the Louis store. We're in the Louis store looking around, you know what I'm saying? She about to treat herself for her birthday, all this kind of things. I'm looking at all these purses, and I'm like, yo, how many cats spend this same amount of money or time investment on who they are instead of just how they look? Because them bags, there's this one lady, her and her husband sat down, boom. She was like, bring it out, bring it out, bring it out. I was like, oh, she about to throw the bag at the bags. The lady was like, yep, this one's $5 and that one's $75 and this one's this much and this one's this much. And the lady was just bringing all the bags out. She was like, I was like, yo, she about to throw, or he about to throw a whole bunch of racks at all these bags. And I don't know her life, but obviously, you know, I'm a thinker. So I'm thinking, I'm like, yo, like, if we spent the same amount of time on making sure we appeared a specific way as we did on how the energy that we cultivate internally, like we would just live in a different world. And so when I just talk about our soul, I'm talking about our soul and our heart and our mind. Are they in alignment? Our soul being the essence of who we are, our heart being the posture that we walk with, our mind being how it is that we think and perceive the world and address other people. So when it comes to interpersonal self-care, it's so important because it don't cost you anything except for your time and attention to do it. Oh, that's it. Interpersonal self-care don't cost you nothing but your time and attention and patience. And I think that's really what it boils down to, is a lot of cats don't want to spend time. They don't want to spend the energy and the effort and the patience. And I'll even correct myself. I don't think it's people don't want to spend time and energy and patience. I think it's because of how hard it is. It's so much easier to just go somewhere and have somebody else do our toes and somebody do our nails and do our facial and boop, 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 boop. And we feel like that's it. because it's not really addressing the plaque. Like my son, helping him brush his teeth, he can do the little, you know what I'm saying? But I'd be like, did you brush your tongue? Let me smell. I'd be like, bruh, why you didn't get the tongue? You gotta get the tongue. And because sometimes, oh, catch me, I'm going here, y'all. Sometimes, one time he said, because if I go too far back, I might throw up. Right? Like some of us got a quick gag reflex. Like I can't go too far. And I'm not asking you to go way back here, but some of us, we don't really want to get real deep in our intrapersonal self-care because of what really might come up and what will be revealed out of what we saw when we went on this journey. My goodness. Y'all, I need you to rock out with me when I say this and really hear me. Like the deep, and again, hopefully your connection, I didn't throw you off with the nastiness and the throw up, but that's what it's like though. Like you gotta go as deep and as far as you can go, and how much can you really handle? You know what I'm saying? Like, can you handle the grittiness of brushing your tongue and spitting it out? Can you really handle the grittiness of sitting down and getting the plaque off of your soul and the hardness around your heart that's preventing you from being able to be an optimist that has hope about their future and their present and other people? To be the leader that you were created to be, to have the confidence that you were created to have. But some of us, we can't because we don't even want to take the extra time to do all that. And so intrapersonal self-care is so important because it dictates the energy you put out into the world. Intrapersonal self-care is so important because it's what actually fills up your cup. A lot of people talk about, oh, I don't want to pour from an empty cup, but you're not doing anything to fill up your cup in the first place. So your cup is just empty on empty and has been empty, but you won't take the time to actually fill up your cup. And my philosophy on this is I don't want to I'm not going to pour out of an empty cup, but you're only going to get my overflow. You're getting what I've already given to me. And if I give you what is mine, then I can't be me for me. And if I can't be me for me, I can't be me for you. And too often we're just pouring out of the same cup versus being able to overflow out of our cup. And that's a part of the problem. So having pretty toes ain't going to change that, because pretty toes don't have nothing to do with your mindset. Having a facial don't have nothing to do with your attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like getting your nails don't have nothing to do with being a pessimist. Like all of those things, getting a massage and your body feeling good don't have nothing to do with how you treat other people. Those are just external aspects. And so the intrapersonal versus external, it shouldn't be a battle. It should be both and. Both can exist. If you can take out an hour plus to get all those other things done, you can give yourself, your intrapersonal self, 5 minutes. Because usually a facial, your nails, your toes, massages, all that is at least a 60-minute service. And then you got to get there. And then you got to get home. So if you can give yourself an hour to 2 hours to go do all these things, plus 50 to 150, 200 some dollars worth of capital on all of those things, then you can give yourself 5 minutes of free intrapersonal self-care. The thing about this though is it may be free, but it's costly. Intrapersonal self-care is free, but it's going to cost you everything. It's going to cost you time, energy, effort, introspection. To grow in your self-awareness is costly, but the ROI is irreplaceable. The ROI that you get from your intrapersonal self-care journey will be greater than any ROI you get from any other external self-care experience. And I'm saying this as somebody who's been on both sides of the coin. I just got a massage 2 days ago, and I was like, it was trash. And the cost that I had to go through to get it and would have had to pay for it wasn't even worth the experience at all. I would have rather just sat by myself for 10 minutes and just, But I'm also somebody who invests in my intrapersonal self-care on a daily basis, to where the experience that I had to go through prior to getting that massage allowed me to stay in alignment. Now, there's a backstory behind it, but I experienced some racism and homophobia while at the Four Seasons in Phoenix, which led prior to getting this massage. So I couldn't even enjoy the massage because I had to continue to process and keep myself and body regulated in a specific way. That's kind of besides the point. But it's also in alignment with the point, because if I didn't prepare myself on a daily basis to be a specific way, to show up a specific way, to take care of my personal well-being and my psychological capital, those experiences I had could have went so many different directions. And if I would have tried to mask it with the massage, it wouldn't have helped. And I think sometimes that's what happens for a lot of us. We're just masking our hurts and pains, or not our lack of healing, with external self-care. Now, again, I'm not against it. I'm for it. I dedicate time, money, energy, all the above to all of those things. So I'm pro it, but I do it in addition to my intrapersonal self-care. Okay? So here are the things that I want you to do and I want you to think about. Number one, I want you to spend some time in what I call you-ish time. But I like to take the you, drop the name, or drop the you and put your name on it. So for me, it's Rees-ish time. For you, it's whatever your name is-ish time. Okay? And the bare minimum of this is 5 minutes. Now, if you tell me you don't have 5 minutes, then there ain't no point in anything. You have 5 minutes for yourself. So in this 5 minutes, here's what I want you to do. The first thing I want you to do is tap into your spirituality, whatever that looks like. For me, I'm a prayer, so I got to pray. First 5 minutes, I'm going into prayer. And even in my prayer, I'm being grateful. I'm finding some things of gratitude. So that's the first aspect. Then I want you to transition into breathing. Whether you want to use a guided meditation, whether you just want to breathe, whatever it is, you're doing this to help center yourself and to calm your mind. If you take 7 deep breaths, that's like 1 full minute of breathing, which is awesome. Okay. So you're starting spiritually, then you're helping yourself mentally with your breathing, your meditation. Then from there, I want you to journal. And I don't want you to write a bunch of pages. I'm not saying that. I need you to just get a book, a page, or something, whatever. And I want you to write down those 3 things that you're grateful for that you talked about at the beginning. Then I want you to just write a couple sentences. Sometimes I'm like, I ain't got it. Sometimes like, I don't want to say this, or it's let's get it, or I've got some more to say. But it's beneficial for you to take some time to write down these thoughts, because when you take it from your mind through your hand to the pen, it makes it that much more real and increases the process of growth and healing. So those are the steps. Get some spiritual connection, give some gratitude, take some breaths. After you take those breaths, then I want you to journal, write that stuff out. And then I kind of want you to talk to yourself. And if you want to take it a step further, then I would like you to visualize. And you can do this all in a minute. So all this takes is 5 minutes. And I guarantee, I promise that this will transform your life. And I would encourage you not to wait to the end of the day to do this. I'd encourage you to do this at the beginning of the day. Reason being is because this is going to prepare you for the day. You don't want to have to be on response afterwards. You want to wake up, prepare your mind, prepare your heart, prepare your soul for what's to come, because this is what fills up your cup. So when you get into whatever situation, you can overflow, and everybody's getting the overflow. But you deserve to have 5 minutes of your morning. And if you have more time, dive in deeper. Spend more time in meditation and breathing, more time in prayer, more time journaling, more time visualizing. And then add on your physical at the end of that. Add on your workout at the end of that. And that's what my morning looks like. And it has been a safe haven, a namesake, something I look forward to. And when I have the most time, it feels really good. And there's sometimes that I do only have 5 minutes. And there's other times that I got an hour. And so whatever you have time for, make time for it. Don't look at the excuse. Look at, okay, I got 5 minutes. I can give myself that, but do it at the top of the day. So y'all, I hope that this was beneficial. I hope that you are catching the understanding between and the importance of intrapersonal self-care versus external self-care, and the importance of both of them, right? Like, you're worthy of having both. But if you're gonna only give yourself one, then make sure it's intrapersonal. You can even add your intrapersonal on top of your external. Do one and then go out that way. But the other thing I'll say too, before I wrap up, is oftentimes external self-care, one, because of the cost and the time and all of that, we're usually doing it maybe once a month, once a quarter at best. So if you're really only giving yourself that level of self-care once a month and once a quarter, then you're not really taking care of yourself at all. Where this 5 minutes a day turns into what, 5 times 5, that's 25 minutes, 35 minutes a week, is a game changer that you don't have to go anywhere for. There's been times I've done this in a closet. There's been times I've done this in a bathroom. Depending on where I'm at, I'm going to give me what I need on a daily basis. And 5 minutes every single day is better than one time a month or waiting for that vacation or whatever the case may be, is right, for you to go in and give yourself what you need. Even when it comes to therapy, some folks only go to therapy once a week, maybe once every other week, maybe once a month, once a quarter, who knows, right? And your therapist will also say you still have to invest in you on that daily basis. So I'm encouraging you to spend 5 minutes with your you-ish time, because this is going to be intrapersonal self-care that really amplifies your personal development, your personal growth, your self-awareness, that really is going to empower you to live out your purpose with confidence. So if you want some help with this, some coaching around this, reach out to your girl. If you want to help craft what this needs to look like for you in your life, or you want more information on how I do it and how I make it happen, then hit me up. Let's talk about it. But at the end of the day, I want you to remember 2 things. You are the bag, and you are worthy of living out your purpose with confidence. I'm your host, Dr. Rees. Until next time, peace.